Today on Crunch Week, we're talking about Twitch's $1 billion sale to Amazon, Snapchat's $10 billion valuation, and Uber's Operation SLOG. Hey there, I'm Colleen Taylor.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Alex.
And this is a special, sort of bittersweet episode of Crunch Week, so we all need our beers.
Yep.
Because it's my last week as host for a few months here. I'll be leaving TechCrunch for a short 3-month book leave. I'm writing a book and I need to focus on that. So for 3 months, I won't be here at this round table.
We'll try not to burn it down to the ground.
But we are very proud of you. And so before we kick into it, congratulations.
Cheers.
Also, this is not an ad for Stella Artois. That just all had to be pointed in the right direction when we brought them onto the table.
It is a green bottle, so we thought it was kind of matched the decor.
We're on brand.
I don't know.
We're so professional.
This is just what John, our producer, got for us. So
That's
thanks,
true.
John.
Thank you, John.
So big news, a lot of billion-dollar news, multi-billion-dollar news this week. First off, Twitch selling to Amazon.
Yeah, so if you don't know about Twitch, Twitch is a gaming live streaming service that has really exploded in the last couple of years. It's gone from being this, small subproduct of Justin.tv to being this, 55 million viewer per month online behemoth. And there was a lot of talk for a while that Google was going to drop about $1 billion and pick it up. The number was right, the purchaser was wrong. It was actually Amazon in the end, which is very surprising to a lot of people. And I think essentially Google just didn't want to pay that much money for it, and so Amazon walked away with the prize. Now, the fun thing here is that Twitch.tv actually subsumed Justin.tv. So the original idea, you could say it was a pivot. But in the end, it was a big deal for Amazon, and I think there's been a lot of ideas out there about why they bought it, but no one is really that sure.
So.
Yeah. There's also, this is also a big win for Y Combinator. Like, this is their biggest exit to date, which is kind of worth mentioning since Justin TV, started there, incubated there, and actually this is the second exit out of Justin TV. What was it called? Social Cam was bought by Autodesk a few years ago for, whatever it was.
Right. But their company is founded from or through YC that are worth a lot more than $1 billion. Yeah. This is just the biggest exit thus far.
For sure.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. We keep seeing these huge exits. But I just loved the press reporting around this because VentureBeat had reported as confirmed a few weeks back that Google had bought Twitch, confirmed in the headline. Yeah. And now we find out that wasn't true,
Well, evidently there was, subsequent reporting has come out saying that there had been a deal, that it was, pretty much finalized, and then Google both sides kind of backed out of it because they couldn't agree to certain terms, like how much autonomy Twitch would have to spend on certain events, whether they could throw their own events, stuff like that.
Right.
And YouTube really wanted to sort of control all of that and not give them that freedom.
I think in the mainstream press, the story was like, what the heck is Twitch? So many people have never heard of it.
But if you're at all active in the gaming community, and I am just a little bit, they are such an important player. They put money and time and resources and real heft behind esports, which is something that I like. So I'm really hoping that Amazon doesn't denation them in that way, but actually encourages them to put more into it. Because it'd be really fun to see more of the esports stuff.
Yeah, it seems like Amazon is getting more into gaming. They've acquired a few gaming companies here. They're definitely doing something in this space. So I don't think that this is just something that's going to get ruined or shut down or decommissioned at any time. I think that they're hoping to keep the gaming thing alive.
I figured it out. They will sell you toothpaste, build you a drone, and live stream StarCraft 2. Got it.
It all fits together.
It all fits together.
Yeah.
Another big news thing this week that TechCrunch actually broke, alongside the Wall Street Journal, these two publications broke it at the same time. Snapchat has raised another round of funding, this time led by Kleiner Perkins.
It's not led by Kleiner.
Not led by Kleiner?
No, so the story is that they're raising about $100 million. Kleiner participated, put in 20 of that, and it values them at $10 billion.
So the story is that everyone agrees on here is that the valuation is $10 billion. But our stories kind of diverged here. Alexia, who broke it for TechCrunch, wrote that it was she had been hearing from her sources it was a $100 million round. Wall Street Journal reported that it was only a $20 million round.
Well, I think they said they knew about 20 million of it. They didn't, I think, say it couldn't be larger. There's talk of this could be a secondary component of a larger round. You just don't do a 50 million Series C and then a 20 million Series C. I'm sorry, the C then D, there we go, sorry. It doesn't make logical sense. And if they can raise at that valuation, why not take on capital when it's so low cost to them?
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot about Snapchat that has made sense, logical sense. I mean, when you think $10 billion, do you think this is really worth $10 billion? They don't even earn a cent yet. There's no revenue at Snapchat.
Yeah, this was I think it was the largest valuation for a pre-revenue startup that we've seen, higher than Twitter, which was 8.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, but Twitter, like, you know, at that point, they were ready to turn on the spigot and like start monetization like a month or two afterwards.
Right.
There doesn't really seem to be, you know, Snapchat moving quite as quickly to do the same.
And Twitter has shown an amazing ability to monetize because you can kind of understand where the money comes from. But Snapchat, given the ephemerality of its product by nature, I've always been a little more skeptical of its ability to derive large cash flows. But investors seem to be wrong. The only thing I'll say is I find it very strange to peg a valuation that high with such a small capital intake. I mean, 100 million of 10 billion is 1%.
Right.
And what's, I mean, you know, what's Kleiner's growth fund doing just putting in $20 million? Which is the big question, like why wouldn't they bet more than that? I mean, they clearly have the capital to do so if they felt that strongly about it. I think someone had joked, you know, the reason they did it was to make more than $20 million. but it still doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, you know, based on the size of their funds and the amount of money, the amount of capital that they have, you know, even if they get a 2x, 3x return, it's still like an infinitesimally small amount of money for that firm.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If they do a 3x and they go public for, say, $30 billion, that's how much Twitter is worth, with an expected $1.3 billion in calendar 14 revenue. So Snapchat has a long way to go to command the kind of valuation in a more than paper sense, I feel.
Yeah, but it could get valued pretty high if it does sell to a larger company, although now it's priced high.
Yeah, who could it sell to? I mean,
maybe Microsoft?
Aha!
Yeah,
No.
there have been so many rumors going around about Snapchat now, you know, getting in talks with Microsoft, in talks for partnership with Alibaba. You know, a year ago they were in talks to sell to Facebook and Google and all these things. It's definitely the more buzzy company here.
It's the buzziest, I think, right now.
Yeah, crazy times. Third topic, Uber. There seems to not be a crunch. Sorry, go ahead.
Operation SLOG.
Operation SLOG. I feel like every week we talk about a new thing.
A new Uber controversy?
Yeah, often it's like Uber versus Lyft controversy.
Yeah, it's another Uber versus Lyft controversy. This time it was because Uber's playbook for recruiting Lyft drivers was revealed to the public. Casey Newton at The Verge got documents from one of the contractors, or a couple of the contractors out of New York, who shared it with him. And basically it runs down, you know, how Uber contractors are supposed to recruit Lyft drivers. And they do that through burner phones and credit cards and fake Lyft accounts.
Well, real Lyft accounts, they're paying for the rides.
Real Lyft accounts, they're paying for the rides. But I mean, the thing is, you know, with Lyft, your account is tied to your identity. So presumably, they're creating Facebook accounts, and if those accounts are found to be fraudulent, they're shut down. They create another Facebook account, use a different credit card, and just, you know, go through the process.
So does this cross the line? Where do we morally stack this up?
I'm not sure. I feel like this kind of thing happens all the time in a lot of different industries. I mean, really what they're doing is getting in a Lyft car. They're paying for the rides. They're not paying for the rides. They get in the car and they say, hey, have you ever thought about driving for Uber instead? I mean, you'd think that people do this kind of thing at other places. Do people walk into Starbucks and say, hey, have you ever thought about working at Pete's?
No,
Maybe?
They don't.
Well, I don't know.
Also, it's bad faith, right? I mean, you're saying I want to go somewhere, maybe you put in a destination, and then you're specifically not getting into a Lyft for that. They didn't drive Lyft to get pitched and recruited all day. They drove to drive people around.
Yeah.
And so you are disrupting their workflow, acting in bad faith, and lying about who you are. So I feel like some of this is not okay. If they weren't paying the rides, it'd be very much not okay. But I do feel like this is a little more aggressive than good taste allows.
To be fair, I mean, Operation SLOG, like, slogging has been around for a while. Like, it's not like it just started, you know, with
What does SLOG stand for? It's like something about
it's in the rap song. Slog all day, motherfuckers want to find me.
Yeah,
motherfuckers can't find
it was something about like driving long-term growth of the platform or something like
exactly.
that. But yeah, I mean, it's been around for a while. They've obviously been recruiting drivers for for years, starting with black car drivers, and then when these alternative services like Lyft and Sidecar came up, they recruited drivers from them as well. I think, what's interesting to most people is just how systematic
yes.
This is. This isn't just like, an Uber driver saying, hey, do you want to work for Uber when he happens to be taking a Lyft? It's like they're, subcontracting out third party.
But listen, tech companies all the time hire recruitment firms,
right.
Engineers at every company get calls all day and pings on their LinkedIn from, a lot of times engineers don't even join LinkedIn because all they're going to get is incessant recruiter, email. So this happens with a lot of different jobs, and actually when the tech companies like, Facebook and Google all had this, sub rosa deal to prevent recruiting from happening, that was really bad.
Really bad.
So, these people are just, maybe these drivers aren't on LinkedIn, maybe they can't call their desk phone, so they go to them where they are, which is in their cars driving for Lyft.
Last point on this for me. Look, when you order this many Lyfts, you are reducing the Lyft supply for actual riders and deprecating the experience for the average person. So there is an impact here that's external to the driver themselves that does harm the competition. So they're using their money to directly, not beat them on having a better experience, but harming their experience.
That's a good point. They are flooding the system if there are that many sloggers out in a city. I mean, how many sloggers are active at any given evening? Sloggers. Do you think they purposely choose like a Friday night or a Saturday night?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know. But the last point that I'll make is that I find interesting about this is that this activity shows just how much of a commodity it is and just how little loyalty there are between the services. I mean, and you see it all the time in San Francisco. You'll see cars driving around with the mustache and the little Uber sign simultaneously with, two phones open at the same time, just like trying to get whatever the next passenger is.
So how can Uber afford to pay $750 per recruited driver if that's going to happen? I mean, do the economics there work out?
I don't know if they do. This seems like, they're driving long-term growth, but in the short term, it seems like it's not a sustainable way to keep throwing money at getting more drivers.
They have $1.5 billion.
They have 1.2 Twitches.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, I'm done.
Yeah. Well, this is my last Crunch Week, so I will see you all until December when I come back. So tune in, though, next week. You will be in these gentlemen's capable hands, and have a nice weekend.